You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5. Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate News Bulletin. The day is the 14th of August, 2019. Coming to you live from the Baxter Boots studio here in downtown Betoota on Daru Street. My name is Clancy Overell, editor of the Betoota Advocate. As usual, I'm joined by two other Betoota Advocate icons. Editor-at-large, Errol Parker, how are you going?
Bonjour, Clancy. Comment ça va?
And Wendell Hussey, the local townie kid we hired to read the news. How are you, mate?
Always good, Clancy. Now, let's kick things off with some news down south from the Apple Isle. And Tasmanian girl returns from mainland with exciting fables of traffic lights and pasta.
Yeah, she was the centre of attention upon her return to her hometown, wasn't she, Wendell?
She certainly was.
What was her name there? I can't really remember. It was something.
Carinia Strathgordon.
Carinia Strathgordon. Yeah, she had plenty of stories to tell about, buildings that she saw that were twice as big, if not even bigger, than the Strawn Lighthouse. And, of course, motorbikes, like the old penny farthing bikes, but with motors in them and with smaller wheels.
Yeah, she held counsel for quite some time. And one of our readers from the other side of the Bass Strait, named David Holmes, commented on our story with an interesting insight. He said, and this is verbatim, "Being a Taswegian can be scary on the big island. The roundabout things are hard to get past, and in Melbourne, they have little trains in the middle of the streets. Very scary."
Poor buggers.
Moving on to other news now, and a report has been released confirming that sausage dogs are great in theory.
Yeah, the report found that outside the cuteness factor, the Dachshund's ability to climb stairs or be tied up outside a coffee shop without carrying on like a goose makes them less appealing in real life.
We actually struck a chord with a lot of the sausage dog owners around the world. Wiener dogs, they're also known as in some countries. I prefer to call them that. There was a lot of heat, but that comes with the territory, I guess. If you're going to write anything about any particular breed, you're going to find people that stand by that particular breed. Even the bully breeds, people defend them even after the dog, bites a stranger's kid. But when it comes to the sausage dog, they actually have this bizarre issue that I've learnt, is that their shit smells worse than other dogs. It comes from having a longer intestine, I believe. It stays there and gets stinkier and shittier as it comes through their long body. And they also struggle walking upstairs. So I don't know why you'd own one, but they are great in theory, not so great in practice.
Well, Clancy, as the owner of 8 staffies yourself, do you think that the sausage dogs would be good as a fighting dog, like what you do with your dogs?
I don't think so, mate. They wouldn't be able to really get over much. They definitely couldn't get around. And, it's very important to be able to get in and under the neck when you're breeding fighting dogs. And I guess they would lack in that department. But anyway, moving on.
Back home in town now, and a Vietnamese baker is not confident in a cocky tradesman's alleged tolerance to chili.
Yes, we were on the scene for this one, actually, when Danny Hoang had to bite his tongue as a local chippy asked for a lot of chili on his banh mi.
Now, the tradesman in question have been looked after in the past by different bakers, Vietnamese bakers, because, there is a distinct difference between Vietnamese hot and white man hot. And this particular tradesman, who was of Caucasian appearance, honestly thought he could handle it. And Danny, he's seen it before. They come straight back in for a litre of Dare iced coffee within 10 minutes of leaving the store with as much chili as they've requested anyway.
Now, in other parts of our humble regional outpost, we wrote a story about an unfortunate scenario for one local man. That was, car decides man's life is good at the moment and throws on the check engine light.
Yeah, he might not be seeing too much of that ill-gotten tax return of his, but I'll tell you what, from what we saw in the comments, he isn't the only person in the country to have his world turned upside down by a VE Commodore's check engine light, Wendell.
Yeah, and one comment was from Dave Baker, and he said, "I look under the bonnet as soon as the light comes on, but the engine's always still there. The light is a bit of a redundant function for me, really."
Mm-hmm. And for any listeners who do have a VE Commodore that has the check engine light on, another commenter says you should probably just do what the bloke in the article was going to do and take it down to the flight path district and set a torch to it.
If your insurance is fully up to date, of course.
If your insurance is up to date.
Wrapping up with sports news now, and there's great news for Wallabies fans. James O'Connor is all cool with the gays.
James O'Connor, yes, he's very spiritual, as we've seen on his Instagram. We scoured it after that match. Betoota Sports reporters and myself, we took a good close look at it because he was actually the defining factor in that match. The Wallabies won against the All Blacks on the weekend, 47-26, I believe.
That's it, record breaking.
Record breaking. Obviously, it was against 14 players, but James O'Connor was the difference in the match. So we went and had a good look at his Instagram just to see if there was anything offensive on there that might get him stood down by Raylan Castle. And while spiritual, yes, he loves getting his energies aligned and he has a new group of friends, but he doesn't seem to have a problem with the gays, which is a great revelation, I would have to say, heading into the World Cup anyway.
I agree with you wholeheartedly for once, Clancy, and I hope that James has a long and illustrious career.
Cool. Well, let's win the World Cup then. And on that note, that's all for this week. Thanks again for joining us. Be sure to tune in next time. Until then, I'm Wendell Hussey.
I'm Errol Parker.
And I'm Clancy Overell. You be kind to each other.